Alright, what's up guys, right here. This is gonna be sort of like an add-on, but a remaster of like an old series, which is the Stats and Levels series. So this is part 1 of Stats and Levels. We're gonna combine it with the Combat series that we just finished. Um, so what you want to do is make sure you have API settings enabled, and once you have that ready, go to server script service, insert a server script, call it data store. They want to do local data store is equal to game get service data store service, right? And then we're gonna do local game data. So this is gonna be the data, the game's data, right? Data store dot get data store, right? And the data store string or the name, I'm gonna just call it test1 for now. But you can name this anything. But just remember, when you change this name after like you've done the data store, all your data gets like renewed and like erased and wiped pretty much. And now if you change it back to the original name, then you'll get your data back. But you know, try to not change this at all once you've like made your data store. So now we're gonna do 3 functions. We're gonna do function save data, and then we're gonna do game.players.player added connect function player game.players.player added connect function and player. Oh, not player added, but player removing. Now that we have those 3 functions, we're gonna make a folder inside of the player. This is gonna be called the player stats, right? An instance.new folder not workspace, but inside of player player stats dot name is equal to player stats, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. So now we're gonna do player stats. So we did the player stats folder. Now we're gonna do the different stat attributes. So we're gonna do local health is equal to, this is that new number value player stats health dot value is equal to 100. That'll be like the base. And actually, I'm going to put string here, right? And then I'm going to make the other values real quick. So I'm going to do stamina, I'm going to do defense, I think I spelled that right. I'm going to do strength, I'm going to do level, and ex, oh, what was that? exp. So we have the attributes that we want, right? So what I want to do is I want to come up here and I'm going to do local base stats, right? And this is going to be a table, and we're going to do local health is equal to 100, stamina is equal to 100, defense is equal to 5, strength is equal to, let me go up to strength for the combat system, 10. Okay, so 10, and level is equal to 1, and exp is equal to 0, right? So these are the base stats that we have, right? So now we have to, I want to change these to, actually I'll need that line actually. I can remove that line, and then we're gonna do local saves or player saves, and then we're gonna do a pcall function, which pretty much just checks to see if like, well, I'm not gonna say checks to see if there's no errors, but if there is an error, it will let us like know, without like breaking the script though. Is equal to game data dot get a sync. So this is how we're gonna get the player's data, and then we're gonna do player dot user ID, which is the key that we're gonna use. We're not gonna use player name because that could change. We're gonna use player user ID because that doesn't change. Then we're gonna drop a line and do if player saves, then, and that's a lowercase p. If we have player saves, then, so if player has data, if player doesn't have data, right? And then, I want to do this. So they have the data, right? Since we're going to use a sort of table to save our stuff, right? We're going to do local I. So you go to data. I don't want to say this. Data in pairs. Player saves. No, not player saves, but player stats. Colon get children do. So data is like the various attributes, and actually instead of calling it data, I'm gonna call it attributes. Actually, no, we're gonna call it data, right? And then what we want to do is we want to set data dot value to player saves brackets I, right? So since this is a loop, it's gonna count up and it's gonna get the actual data of the from like the saves and stuff. So print data dot name data dot value. And instead of print, I'm gonna do 1, so I could just get like the bolded letters. If not, and also we're gonna do another one. We're gonna do player has data, and then for this one we're gonna do player has no data, right? And if player has no data, for I, is equal to 1 number of base stats. So number of base stats just gets like how many items are in the list or in the table. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things. You can also put 6 there if you want, but I'm gonna just do this because just in case you want to add more. Base stats. So since we have that, I'm gonna do I don't want to do this. Actually, that's why I said we didn't need these lines, because we're gonna do health dot value is equal to. Actually, no. We can do this. Yeah, we can do this. So for I, data and pairs, player stats, get children, I get full name, I get children, do, and then we can set data that value to base stats, brackets I, and then we can just do, actually we're gonna do print instead of 1 for these data value. And then we're just gonna do print in place of this one right here. So if we join right now, this will tell us that we have no data, and since we have no data, it's going to give us the base stats, which it didn't. Oh my god. Hold up, let me name these. Name is equal to health stamina dot name is equal to stamina. Defense dot name is equal to defense. Strength dot name is equal to strength. Level dot name is equal to level, and XP dot name is equal to XP. Actually we don't need this. We can just do this right here. And since it's gonna, so this I'm gonna do actually. Yeah. This I'm gonna do. Health dot value is equal to base stats dot health, right? And then we're gonna do stamina dot value is equal to base stats dot stamina. Defense dot value is equal to base stats dot defense. Strength dot value is equal to base stats dot strength. Level dot value is equal to base stats dot level. And XP dot value is equal to base stats dot XP. So if we test this now, we should have the base stats. This should give us the base stats. Yes, it does. Awesome. So since that works, right? Like that. We can actually use this loop, but instead of setting the data, we can just see what the data has. It shows us like the base data. So if we check, yep, shows us the base data. Or level 1, stamina 0, defense 5, strength 10, level 1. Okay. So now what we have to do is do the saving, right? So what we want to do is, in the player removing function, we want to do local player. I mean, we already have player. We want to do player stats. We want to find a stats folder. So wait for child. Player stats. And then we want to call save data. We want to put player through. And we want to put player stats through, right? Then we're just going to scroll up, put these two there. And then we're going to do local data to save is equal to table So then we're gonna do warn saving data, right? And then it's gonna do for, okay, sorry about that, cut. So for I, data in pairs, player stats, get children, do, and then what we want to do is data store, not data store, data to save the I, or bracket I is equal to data dot value, right? And then we're gonna do game data dot set async. I believe that's what we do. Set async. And then we're gonna do player dot user ID, and then data to save, because we need to save data to save table, right? And then we're gonna do warn data save, right? And since Studio likes to be like weird, we're gonna do a one player test, because usually when you do data store or data store, you want to do it like in the actual game, like test it, or like you could do like a local test and test it that way. But it never works on like the regular play test, or it does like sometimes, but it's inconsistent. So we got the server live, and I'm gonna open up properties and Explorer, right? Player join, which you can see there. If you look at your stats, you see that the server shows that the player had no data, so it gave it data in this one. So now if I leave the game, so I'm gonna just click, actually I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna do leave game, leave, right? Saving data, data saved. So now we can close out the server because the data was saved. And then if we play test again, right? What the server should say is the player has data, and if it's done correctly, they should still have that, like the data they have, rather than an error popping up. So I don't know. Oh, that says wait. Well, it still works though. That you can see, it still gave the data. The player has data, and let me just like to be careful, just like check it. So instead of wait, because I messed up, this is supposed to say warn. So now if we do this, so the player has data, and it's been loaded, and yeah, the player has all his stats and stuff, and just to check and see if it actually works, let's just change health to 200, right? And then we're gonna have this player leave the game, and then we can clean up, start a one player test again. And we should see health is equal to 200 here. Yep, and that means the player has 200 health because of it. So this data store works, right? I don't want these videos to be too long, so I'm gonna end it here for part 1. Part 2, we're gonna hook up like UI and stuff, and we're gonna hook it up to the combat system as well. And in part 3, I might do, yeah, I'm not might, but I'm gonna do like an EXP type of thing. So if you enjoyed this first part was helpful, like the video, sub, share. Anything else you want to see, like I'm doing JoJo Remastered, so that video should be out like probably like after this video. Um, but if you want to see anything else new, just let me know in the comments down below. And thanks for watching.